Hello and welcome to today's March 26th Daily News Report. If you're a subscribed member of my community, then welcome back. You watch this channel each day because I keep you in the loop on what's really going on in Washington, D.C. with President Biden and the U.S. economy, so let's jump right in. All right, so much has gone on since I was with you on Thursday. I apologize. I wasn't on yesterday. I wasn't feeling well, but I'm here today and want to keep you in the loop on what's happening. Earlier today, President Biden delivered a speech to a mixed audience of Ukrainian refugees and Polish citizens in Poland. He said on the topic of Putin and freedom, Ukraine will never be a victory for Russia, for people refuse to live in a world of hopelessness and darkness. We will have a different future, a brighter future, rooted in democracy and principles, hope and light, decency and dignity, of freedom and possibilities. Biden said during a speech in front of the Polish president's palace Saturday night that for God's sakes, this man cannot remain in power, speaking of Vladimir Putin. Biden continued, the Russian people are not our enemy. I refuse to believe that you welcome the killing of innocent children and grandparents, or that you accept hospitals, schools, maternity wards. For God's sakes, they're being pummeled by Russian missiles and bombs. Lastly, Biden said, this war is not worthy of you, the Russian people. Putin can and must end this war. The American people will stand with you, and the brave citizens of Ukraine want peace. So basically, he told the people of Russia, get Putin out of office one way or another. Now, the White House had to come on and clarify. We don't really know what Biden meant by this. He was certainly not calling for a regime change, but it kind of sounded like he was. So take it for what it was. Those are his exact words. The CEO of BlackRock Investments said in an open letter to shareholders that Putin has ended the global economy. No more will countries be able to trade as openly or internationally as before. There will need to be more focus by each country to secure their own country, their own energy, and their own resources. So he becomes the second bank or investment head that is basically saying we've got to protect our own country and use our own resources going forward. However, some economists are warning that Russia may come out of this fiasco wealthier and stronger. What? Here's what they had to say. They will not allow anything to be purchased in US dollars. They are willing to take payment in Russian rubles, the Chinese yuan, gold, or Bitcoin. This means a lot of US dollars are about to be dumped because they no longer need to trade with those to buy oil. Also, it has been discovered that leading up to the war, both Russia and China were quietly buying up billions and billions and billions of dollars of U.S. bonds and treasuries. When they come due, they could take all of that money and flood it back into the U.S. market, which would further weaken our economy. It would be like dumping another round of stimulus money, but without any need or use for it, and it could water down the U.S. dollar. Also, Russia has been building up a huge reserve of gold and looks like they might be putting their monetary system back onto a gold standard versus a fiat print infinite amounts of money standard. And lastly, Russia has deepened their friendship and relationship with China, India, and the Middle East. So again, these are not my words. I'm definitely not pro-Putin. I'm just letting you know what many economic advisors are saying could be the outcome of this war. Now, doing all of this has almost been like performing reverse sanctions back on the West, right? The West got together and they sanctioned Russia. Russia then changed the script, right? They flipped the script. And they're saying no more US dollars. You want our energy? It's got to be in rubles or in something that we believe is money. And so they're flipping that. It's almost like reverse sanctions from Russia back onto Europe and the United States. Now, the end result of this could be a further weakening of the US dollar or the utility or use of the American dollar all around the globe. So I'm hoping this isn't the case. I want to see our dollar stay strong. and the world reserve currency, but this is what I'm reading and researching, and I feel I owe it to you to share that with you. With everything going on, almost every single election strategist in the country is saying the country is about to experience a red wave as more and more Americans are looking to Republican-style leadership in the upcoming midterm elections. And the same election experts say, if Democrats don't get the price of gas to come down, there's a very, very low chance of beating Republicans. In fact, I read this is kind of sneaky, right? That many election registration groups all across the country for the Republican Party are setting up registration booths right outside of gas stations. Now, here's why this is interesting. A few months ago, I told you how former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich said, this may be one of the few times in world history when people go to the grocery store or pump gas in their car and have bad feelings towards an American president. Since I told you about that, the price of gas has gone up almost $1 per gallon. So anyway, there's a lot going on with who's going to be leading the country, who people have confidence can get this inflation under control. So again, I'm not saying there's going to be a red wave. I'm just telling you what I'm reading in the news. All right, now at this time, many countries are opening their borders, accepting refugees or immigrants, or they have loose borders and people are flooding in. France, however, is saying that over the next 5 years, they will relocate over 1 million immigrants back to their own country or into a different country. They are saying that France has changed after accepting too many immigrants, and it's changed the culture and the way that France is being run as a country, and it has hurt their economy. And so their political leaders are saying no more immigrants, and in fact, we're expelling immigrants over the next 5 years. The company Apple announced that they are investigating a lease model for phones and possibly computers going forward. Basically, you would never own a phone or computer ever again. You would lease it directly from Apple. However, some are saying this is a great way to enslave people because you can control them, their purchases, the price that they pay, and also access to their digital devices. Is this a way of controlling the people or just a new business model? I don't know, right? But that's what Apple is investigating right now. Former President Donald Trump announced a major lawsuit against Hillary Clinton and all those connected to the Russia hoax that we all lived through as a country for 3 years. Trump says the lies damaged his business, reputation, and ability to run the country as president. My guess is this will be a very long and dramatic lawsuit. I have no idea how it will end, but that was in the news yesterday. Europe is now saying it cannot follow in the United States' footsteps and drop Russian oil. Dropping Russian oil would immediately make prices unbearable for the middle and lower income people of Europe. It could also trigger a massive recession that affects all of Europe. So although they wish they could, they must put their country and their people first. So they're not dropping Russian oil like they said they would. Okay, now in some good news, yesterday the Biden administration's FERC, which stands for Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, voted to approve 3 new pipelines here in the United States. Now, none of these were the Keystone pipeline, but these are the first new pipeline approvals we've seen in a long time and could be the start of putting the United States back on the path to pumping and transporting more of our own oil here at home. So many are seeing this as very, very good news. Senator Joe Manchin said, I was pleased to see them approve 3 additional pipeline projects. Energy security for America and our allies is dependent on FERC's ability to move much needed energy infrastructure projects forward. To do so, they must maintain clear and predictable policies that strike the right balance between energy security, affordability, and environmental considerations. All right, now remember the shipping container Evergreen, the ship Evergreen that got stuck in the Suez Canal last year? Well, it's back. It's now stuck in the Chesapeake Bay. The Chesapeake Bay sits between Washington, D.C. and Delaware, and then down to the south in Virginia, that bay right there. They say the ship must be overloaded and is sitting too heavy. There is now worry that if the bottom of that catches and scrapes and that metal tears open, that it could cause a massive oil spill right there in the Washington, D.C. area. Perhaps this ship is too big to be going through small places and should stick to like the ocean or something, right? But anyway, it is back in the news and we'll see what ends up happening. Now, this is my update for today. As I know more, I will definitely come on and share more with you. Before you go, make sure to get your name entered to be one of the 200 winners of the giveaway that Casey and I are doing, with people winning cash, people winning hats, people winning shirts. 200 winners. We're excited to do that, and I'll make sure to leave a link below. Now, before you go, I just want to remind you that you are amazing. I appreciate you being in my community, and I'll see you on the next video.